Welcome to The Explainer. So, if you've ever felt like you're just fighting this losing battle against distraction, well, this one is for you. Today, we're going to break down the actual brain science that explains why your phone feels so addictive, and then we'll get into a practical toolkit to help you take back control of your focus. Okay, so let's just dive right in with a question I think we've all asked ourselves. You ever have a big, important task sitting right in front of you, but somehow you find yourself scrolling through social media instead? It feels like the productive stuff is like climbing a mountain, while all the distracting stuff is this effortless slide downhill. So why is that? If you feel like your brain is just constantly being pulled in a million different directions, you are definitely not alone. This right here, this is what an overloaded reward system feels like. And these signs, they're not a moral failing or anything like that. They're symptoms. And the culprit behind this constant state of distraction, it's a powerful little molecule in your brain called dopamine. So how did we even get here? To find the answer, we've got to look under the hood and really understand the mechanics of your brain's reward system. And trust me, it's not as complicated as you might think. Now, this is really interesting because it corrects a huge misconception. Most of us think of dopamine as the pleasure chemical, but neuroscientists like Andrew Huberman have made it really clear that its main job is actually motivation. It's the chemical that says, go get that thing, it'll be worth the effort. It is the molecule of more. To make this crystal clear, the Stanford psychiatrist, Dr. Anna Limke, uses this absolutely brilliant analogy, a pleasure-pain balance. Just imagine that all your experiences of pleasure and pain are being weighed on opposite sides of a giant teeter-totter inside your brain. Okay, so when you do something with a huge instant reward, binge watching a show, or getting that flood of social media notifications, you get this massive rush of dopamine, and that sends the pleasure side of your teeter-totter flying way, way up. But here's the thing. Your brain is a master of balance. It craves equilibrium. So when you get that huge hit of pleasure, it works really hard to level the scales. But, and this is the key, it doesn't just bring you back to normal. It actually overcorrects and pushes the teeter-totter towards the pain side, almost like it's bracing for another big reward to come. And this is the crash. This perfectly illustrates it. You're left with that teeter-totter tilted way over toward pain. And that's the feeling, that restlessness, the irritability, that intense craving for more of whatever you were just doing. Not to feel good, but just to get back to feeling normal. So, all of this brings us to the very popular, but often really misunderstood idea of a dopamine detox. What is it really? And does it even work? Okay, so can you really detox from dopamine? Well, as the psychiatrist Dr. Tracy Marks points out, the term itself is pretty misleading. I mean, you can't just turn off dopamine production in your brain. And you wouldn't want to. You actually need it to function. Right. So the crucial point here is this. The goal isn't to get rid of dopamine. The real aim is to lower your tolerance. It's all about resensitizing your dopamine receptors so that everyday, lower stimulation things like, say, reading a book or going for a walk start to feel enjoyable and rewarding again. So the real question isn't how do I detox, but how do I recalibrate that pleasure-pain balance? And thankfully, the science gives us a really practical, powerful toolkit for doing exactly that. We can break this all down into 3 core strategies for really mastering your motivation and taking back control of your focus. So let's look at each one. First up, you have got to protect your baseline dopamine levels. Think of it like making sure your car has gas before you go on a long trip. Simple habits like getting some morning sunlight, quality sleep, and good nutrition, they are absolutely essential. Some experts, like Dr. Huberman, also recommend practices like non-sleep deep rest, or NSDR. It's basically a type of guided meditation that can help restore your dopamine levels and seriously improve your focus. Okay, next up, rethink your breaks. Seriously, instead of reaching for your phone to get another dopamine hit, try doing something that is intentionally less stimulating. It might sound strange, but even just staring at a window for a few minutes lowers your stimulation threshold. And what this does is it makes your actual work feel more interesting and engaging when you go back to it, because your brain isn't comparing it to a fire hose of digital content. And finally, this is the most counterintuitive step, but it might be the most powerful one. Intentionally press on the pain side of the teeter-totter. Yeah, activities like a tough workout or even a quick cold shower, they introduce a healthy dose of effort. In response, your brain works to restore balance by releasing its own dopamine, and that leads to a more stable and lasting sense of motivation, long after the hard thing is over. The goal here isn't to eliminate pleasure from your life, not at all. It's about being more intentional with it. By embracing just a little bit of discomfort and managing your stimulation, you can reset your brain's reward system and find way more joy in the things that truly matter. So that leaves us with a question to take with you. What's one hard thing you could do today to start taking back control?